I was one of those torchbearers, but not far in front of me was a truly great Australian, General Sir Peter Cosgrove, AK CVO MC. Not only our 26th Governor-General of Australia, but General Cosgrove fought in Vietnam. He was the Chief of our Defence Force. He was a former Chief of the Army. He was the Commander of the International Force in East Timor, which oversaw the peacekeeping mission in East Timor during its transition to independence. You might remember he also led the task force helping to rebuild communities in Queensland after Cyclone Larry in 2006. In January 2014, General Sir Peter Cosgrove was named to succeed Dame Quentin Bryce as the Governor-General of Australia. I must say, he's a great bloke, this fellow, but he's come a long way from the schoolboy at Waverley College in Sydney, where he actually tied for the prize as the most efficient cadet in the Waverley College, in that cadet unit. His memoir, You Shouldn't Have Joined, was published in 2020. Peter Cosgrove, I say to our viewers all over Australia and in parts of the world and the British Empire, which it once was, you are an ornament to our nation. But just tell our viewers, how important is legacy?
Alan, it's great to be with you. And I can see from the backdrop there, you've kept the heart of the nation's democracy close to the centre of your broadcast. I'm thrilled to still be associated with legacy. You know, you and I missed out handing the torch to each other, but not by much. I handed it over to a young Australian woman who was there with her daughter, and her husband was killed in Afghanistan not all that many years ago. And she's battled on with the children. So she represents that ongoing need where the quiet men and women of legacy will take on as their perpetual stewardship this care, this love, this family embrace of these wonderful families that have seen their menfolk or their womenfolk go off the war and die as a result. And this is that we extend this life affirming support to them.
Absolutely. See, this is, I'm just saying to our viewers, one of Australia's oldest and most trusted charities. And a phrase commonly used in war remembrance services is, lest we forget, meaning it shouldn't be forgotten. And Peter, I couldn't help but feel last week from the curious looks at us in the torch relay that too many people have forgotten legacy. What do you think?
Well, I think that's a natural thing. The thing we encounter these days is that social interests, social mores, they move so fast because we're in the information age and we're fed up with data from all around the world that the attention of the average viewer, the average consumer of daily news is about the sort of memory of a goldfish swimming around a fish tank. I mean, it's understandable, but, you know, we need to stop and reflect.
Definitely.
And it's things like the torch relay which bring it to mind. Alan, I was standing here waiting for the torch, and I had an unlit torch in my hand waiting for the flame handover, and a visitor said, "Are you here? Is this the Olympic torch?" And, you know...
And it's better than that.
Not really.
And you said it's better than that, yes.
Principle.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that a moving promise, though, by the soldier to his dying mates, typically Australian, we'll look after the missus and the kids. And Peter, that's been happening for 100 years.
Point, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's been happening for 100 years.
Yeah, he went right to the point. He said, the promise is that you've given your life, but we're going to take care of your family. When we get home, your family will be in our hearts.
Yeah, legacy is 100 years old. The torch relay that Peter's talking about aims to commemorate the previous century, but it's also meant, isn't it, Peter, to highlight what the future holds for the organisation.
If anybody could guarantee that we wouldn't be needing legacy with the passing of the present subjects of our legacy support, then we could comfortably wave goodbye. But we're in an uncertain time. We really need to continue to invoke this sense of the Australian character, which is you don't leave people behind.
No. And Peter, this program goes all over Australia and to many parts of what was once the British Empire. Just explain how we can honour the past by helping the present in order to build the future.
We honour the past because the past is the bedrock upon which we stand. Both the fact that Australians will always step forward when there is a challenge, not just to our own set of beliefs, but to other people's. And that's why from time to time we turn up in faraway places to defend their rights. So that's the past. That's part of our national character. The present is, of course, challenging. And, of course, we still have the legacy of thousands of those quietly dignified, generally unknown people living within their shell. They are the other half of people who've paid the ultimate sacrifice, and they're still looked after. The future is, the uncertain future is, we know Australians will always stand up and go to their country's call when that is needed, and that this will involve loss, sacrifice, and the tragedy of those left behind. They're our responsibility, and that's why Australians need to say, thank heavens there's a legacy, and let's support them.
Absolutely. This torch relay, by the way, is promoted by the Defence Health, which since 1963 has supported the families of those who defend our country, caring for those who once served. Talking about service, Peter, and I want to take you into territory you may not want to navigate, but doesn't the way we treat some of our bravest men when they return home indicate an absence of the appreciation of the impossible circumstances young men face in the fields of war? You've been there. Many of people who are sort of the desk commentators would have no idea. I mean, the intimidating environment of Afghanistan, for example. You were in Vietnam, where the field placements of bombs and things were frightening to those of us who were witnessing it. Do you think there's a full appreciation of the circumstances these young men face when we ask them to line up and serve?
Absolutely not, Alan. And of course there never will be, because for so many of us, it's hard to imagine. If you're fed stuff from the television screen, which understandably is graphic, that's a snapshot of your digestion of the evening news, and you see a bomb go off or the aftermath of an atrocity in another place, and you see that, but you can't experience it unless you've been there. Look, part of our issue is we kept sending the same lot of soldiers over and over again. And I have to feel inside my soldierly self that those men went to the well so often. We should have given them some respite. And perhaps new soldiers, albeit less experienced, have to go and have their turn, take their place.
They're mentally damaged.
Look, I feel for those men who went there so often thinking, I'm going to have to get home to mum and the kids. And really and truly, it worries me that we can so traumatise these younger men with this continued exposure that they're damaged goods.
Absolutely.
And, the nation needs to take responsibility for it.
Damaged goods, indeed. Just before you go, say it again. How important, therefore, because I'm asking people to give, and I'm asking you out there to give. This is 40,000 families are being helped. This is General Sir Peter Cosgrove, a distinguished Australian, a soldier, a servant. How important, therefore, to our viewers is legacy?
Legacy is vital because it goes to the very heart of that Australian nature of compassion and looking around for people less well off, needy. I mean, we're always, as a national community, of muscular compassion. We don't sit back and say, that's sad, somebody should do something. We say, as a national community, those people are needy, that's a worthy cause, let's help. Absolutely. You helped launch the Torch Relay a while ago. I was there with you. You spoke passionately about it. And if that passion can translate itself into the minds and the hearts of our fellow Australians to help legacy, well, good on them, good on you.
Good on you. Well, look, you can all donate who are watching tonight at legacytorchrelay.com.au, legacytorchrelay.com.au. General Sir Peter Cosgrove, thank you for your time and the wonderful contribution you have made to our country. And our best love to Lynn, of course, the bride.
Thank you very much, Alan. I look forward to talking to you again.